Welcome. My name is Karen A. from Jerusalem, and this is the Afro-Euro Reco12 podcast, where fellows from all addictions, all afflictions, all 12 steps programs have found recovery, relief, salvation, and have been reborn by working the 12 steps of the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. We welcome you here today as we have one of our special fellows share. I'll introduce him in a second. If you'd like to check out Reco12, you can go to Reco12.com, listen to our many podcasts that have come in from all over the world, whether that's AA, GA, CA, CODA, Al-Anon. We have all found relief and success working this program one day at a time. Intelligent agent spearheads of God's everlasting creation. If you would like to contribute your seventh tradition, you could also do that on Reco12.com/support, and we accept PayPal and Venmo. Without further ado, I would like to introduce you to our fellow from India, Amit G. Amit G. There we go. So Amit G will share a little bit about himself, the fellowships he is in, and some of his experience, strength, and hope working 12-step program of recovery. Without further ado, Amit, we're so happy to have you. And I'm so happy to get to know more men in recovery, because I think that's real important for a lot of us women here is, getting faith back in the male species. So thank you.
Okay. Hi, friends. I'm Amit. I'm an alcoholic. And by the grace of God, that I found in 12 steps, I didn't have to pick up a drink today, and I'm really really grateful for that. I find it difficult to express my gratitude because I really don't have words to express my gratitude. I feel so much grateful today that one day at a time I am given a reprieve from that fatal obsession. I joined Alcoholics Anonymous, and in 2013, 2012, and I was I qualify myself as an alcoholic of a hopeless variety, because when I came to fellowship, I was like totally what you call. I was not willing to look at the facts, and I thought probably I have a problem, but not too much. And I kept coming to the rooms, and one day at a time, I kept ruining myself. I could not recover because today, after almost 4 years of living sober and useful life, one day at a time, based on the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, I find that the main problem in my recovery was prejudice, and it was the main obstacle, because it would not let my mind open, and I was not willing to look at the truth as it is, what we call objectively look at the truth, because only truth is going to set me free. But first it will piss me off, and I kept coming into rooms, coming in and going on and off, on and off. I kept moving from sanatoriums, or what you call rehabs nowadays. I kept moving on from one rehab to another, hoping that I would recover someday, and there would be some miracle that would happen. Before my journey of Alcoholics Anonymous started, I would like to share my experience. The big book of Alcoholics Anonymous talks about the bedevilments, 8 bedevilments on page 52, that we were having trouble with personal relationships. We couldn't control our emotional natures. We were a prey to misery and depression. We couldn't make a living. We had a feeling of uselessness. We were full of fear. We were unhappy. We couldn't seem to be of real help to other people. And these bedevilments, Big Book talks about. And I had experienced these bedevilments even before I picked up my first drink. I picked up my first drink in 1994, and about 4 years prior to that, I had started experiencing these bedevilments. I had a panic attack in my, let's say, when I was in seventh grade or eighth grade. I had a panic attack, and it was about inferiority complex. I'm not good. I'm not good enough. I'm of no use. I don't have good personality. I don't look good. I don't speak that well. Um I'm not at all presentable. It kept progressing so much, and I started praying to God, and I started cursing God, and that was the first time I got more agitated. I got more confused, and the more I resisted my mind to stop, I resisted to stop cursing God, but it increased, and I further got confused, and it was so bad. The situation was so bad. I would pray literally so many times throughout the day, and I used to get confused. What's happening? Why am I getting so many of negative thoughts? And since I identify well with Big Book that I am Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde personality. So I cannot speak out my truth. I cannot openly tell someone how I am feeling. So I kept my inferiority kept eating me, eating my soul, and those were the bedevilments. I prayed, and nothing happened. And that was the time when I lost my faith in higher power. And I started cursing higher power. I used to swear a lot. After I started my drinking, actually I noticed for the first time that I was suddenly, raised to a different level of comfort and easiness. And I felt, wow, this is so great. Because, for the first time in my life, I was running from that fear and from that inferiority complex. And I noticed that alcohol did for me what I could never do for myself. And it was such a great experience. And it got registered in my mind, on my mind, and as the time proceeded, as the time progressed, I soon found that I got my answer. I got answers to my bedevilments, and my drinking started progressing. That was the time when I was pursuing my engineering, and I was okay at studies, but again my inferiority complex drew me to perfectionism, and I got stuck up in that perfectionism so much that I could never do anything well. I could never study anything well because I had to, go to the root of every single thing. I had to know each and everything in the world. I mean, I was so frustrated. I was so scared of every single thing, every single moment. And that was the time when the rapacious creditor alcohol, it started helping me out. And I started drinking day in and day out. It was in 2001 that I went to United States to pursue my masters, and I passed qualifying exam, but that feeling of inferiority would not leave me. It had me scared all the time, every single moment, and because I had gone for my further studies in the US, I did not drink for about a year and a half. But as my fear progressed, I started drinking again, and my drinking blew out of proportion, and it assumed such a miserable miserable state of mind, and I was so full of self pity and everything. I had two DUIs. I had two accidents in the US. I was locked up. I had lost my friends. I had big fights with my friends. I started because it was not enough. I discovered another thing, that was weed. So I started smoking weed also 24 by 7. Got of my understanding that was alcohol that was doing the job for me, even though it was, it was whipping me with lashes, but at least it was giving me some reprieve. And years after that, I realized in Alcoholics Anonymous, 8 years after I came to Alcoholics Anonymous, I realized my sponsor told me that you have to find the true God. The falsified God is not coming to your help, hasn't come to your help. And when I heard the word God for the first time in Alcoholics Anonymous, I was like, oh my God, no, I cannot be here. So as I said, prejudice, I had closed my mind against each and every single thing, that was suggested to me. I always used to think that alcohol is not my problem. My depression is my problem. My feeling of inferiority is my problem. I should, solve that first. Alcohol will be taken care of later. But I did not know that such a wonderful program was, with me, the 12 steps. And I did not know that I was about to get a great experience of my life, provided I was willing to, set aside my prejudice. After many sanatoriums, after many rehabs, after many years in and out, after incomprehensible demoralization, one day I was admitted to a rehab again for the 22nd time. I had grown so insane. uh, at my 22nd admission, I realized that God can do something for me which I cannot. And three pertinent ideas. I don't know how it happened, but that was an act of providence. That was God's grace. I suddenly that thought popped in my mind that only God could and would if He were sought, and I decided that I need this program. And by God's grace, I got a sponsor who took me through steps. And the first thing I he told me and I noticed was I needed to set aside my prejudice so that my mind opens. I realized, I'm not very sure if I should name my friends, because I listened to some tapes on YouTube, and I'm really grateful to Bob D, because I could learn lots about my prejudice from his tapes. And there are so many other friends also. Mark H is there, Peter M. There are so many friends. I'm sorry if I'm omitting some names, but YouTube has helped me a lot. And Noodles community, Noodlers. So I realized that the word prejudice, the word old ideas, the word preconceived notions, the word insanity, the word obsession, the word contempt prior to investigation. So most of these words, make my mind closed. And I'm not receptive to new ideas. And it was really necessary for me to, listen to willingness to believe in a power. Listen to someone who would connect me with God of my understanding. And I noticed that this prejudice, it was always with me, because I was a man of faith, and then I had lost faith due to calamity. In my case, it was calamity also, it was pomp also, and it was worship of other things as well. I had lost my faith, and first prejudice I had to set aside was, let me try. My sponsor said, just try. I'm not forcing you that you must have faith. Just, are you willing to believe in a power greater than yourself? If you are, then you are on your way. I will tell you to do other things, some other simple set of rules from the big book. And if you get a spiritual experience, you can believe and you can have trust. Else, you are free to go. You don't you are not it's not compulsory that you should stick to this program, but at least be willing. So I became willing to believe in that God. And that in the third step, I realized that my prejudice means nothing but my prejudgment. And that prejudgment is nothing but I draw conclusions. I don't wait for, for confirming if I have enough evidence of that conclusion. I'm really quick to draw conclusions, and those conclusions is nothing but my prejudgment. So wonderfully explained step three by my sponsor and my buddy Bob D also. I need to, turn over my will and my life. So my will means my judgment. And I was like, wow, that's right. That's true about me, because I was so, convinced of my prejudices that I was like, no, I don't want Alcoholics Anonymous, because I will have to live a life which only losers live. Faith is for losers. And I had a preconceived notion, I had a prejudice that I should have multiple affairs, I should have multiple relationships, uh, then I should be selfish, because today's world is a cruel world, so selfishness is a must. Having two or more girlfriends is a must. I mean, yeah, it is the way to live life. I was so convinced of my ideas, and I was so convinced of this disease that was growing in me. And I was like, I used to believe that anger is my jewel. Anger is a jewel that I need. It's an ornament. I was, I grew up with these kind of, I mean, this kind of conditioning, and I am responsible for that, because once I had a choice, but I did not use my will. So in the third step, when I noticed that I had to, turn over my will, meaning I have to turn over my judgment to God. And I should keep my mind open, because if I stop judging, because I'm quick to judge, he is like this, Alcoholics Anonymous is like this, life is like this, God is like this, I'm like this, I'm of no use, blah blah blah. So set aside prayer, which really helped me to open my mind. So God, today please help me set aside whatever I think I know, all I think I know about myself. Yeah, I know about myself everything. No, 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 I don't know about myself, because I have never done the inventory part. I have never self appraised myself. I don't know myself. God, today please help me set aside everything I think I know about you. I knew that God is cruel. God did not help me when I was praying to him. So, Alcoholics Anonymous, the big book asked me just one simple question: have you ever tried to ask God what is His will for you? So, I had to set aside, I agreed I should set aside that I know how God is, how does He look like, how does He work. I was so resentful at God that, I had to set it aside. Today, please help me set aside everything I think I know about others. I'm so full of resentment. I'm so full of dishonesty, and I'm so full of judgments and opinions about others that I cannot, develop constructive relationships, because I don't wait. I don't take a pause. Sometimes a person behaves in a certain way. A person has to behave in a certain way. So there may be some reason for it, because a person did something or a person did not do something. There may be some reason to it. I should wait before I make a conclusion. And that's what I've been doing all my life. So please help me set aside everything I think I know about others, and please help me set aside everything I think I know about my own recovery. My sponsor said, you don't know anything, you don't know any single thing, that's why you haven't been able to recover. Why can't you accept this simple truth? And I was like, yes, it's been taking me so long, so yes, probably I don't know a lot of things. And I became willing to really, give it a thought. Yes, I don't know. And I could, realize the importance of set aside prayer, which then says, so that I may have an open mind. Because prejudice is like a lid. It is like a lid which keeps my mind closed. And so new ideas cannot enter my mind. And whatever, blocks me from God's grace is my prejudice. It creates in me resentments. It creates in me dishonesty. It makes me selfish, and it makes me full of fear. So I realize that it is true that once I set aside my prejudice one day at a time, if I start practicing it, just practice it. Just say to yourself, okay, let me put it aside. okay, let me wait for some time. And then I realized that, oh God, so that I may have open mind. Once I set my prejudice aside, I will have my mind open and a new experience. All my life, I did not know the difference between information and experience. I always thought information, I had a lot of information. I had collected so much of information about, science and about psychology and about psychiatry and, about lunar missions and whatnot. And as the big book says, wasn't it of urgency for me to, first address my bedevilments than to look at lunar, missions. So I kept getting a lot of accumulating a lot of information, and I always mistook information for experience, but I did not know that there is a huge difference between information and experience. If I get an experience, only and then only I can recover. Otherwise I cannot say that I know this. And so that I may get a new experience, God, today please help me experience the truth or see the truth. This prayer, this little prayer, it is derived from the big book, because the big book also tells us to keep an open mind. um, First, initially I thought I will need to, keep repeating to myself, I will have open mind, open mind, open mind, but I did not know that it is like darkness and light. Once the light comes, darkness is gone. So as I became willing to set aside my prejudice, my preconceived notions, my old ideas, I thought let's give it a try. Probably, I saw some people who were living happy, joyous, and free. I was under some burden that my life would be very miserable if I start doing God's will. Because in the third step, when my sponsor told me that self will has blocked you from God's grace, and here onwards you need to live by, not by your self will and its propulsion, but you need to do God's will. I thought probably my life is going to be so miserable that I will not get an opportunity to live on self will, as I explained. Multiple relationships and a lot of selfishness, making money by illegitimate ways. I used to like that, anger. I will have to give up my selfishness. Oh, my life will become like a hole in the donut. I really thought probably I'm gone. But my sponsor said, no, no, again, it's your prejudice. It is going to be exactly opposite of what you have been thinking so far. You will be happy, joyous, and free. And friends, today, by the grace of the God that I found through 12 steps, I can certainly say through my experience that this prejudice, which was about to kill me, uh, I realized today that God made it possible to for me to set aside my prejudice and give it a try by keeping mind open every day. That I have to open the door of willingness, and myself will slams it shut. But since I have been promised that if I maintain my spiritual condition one day at a time, I will get a reprieve. And today, without any fear, I am really amazed. What a beautiful program! What a beautiful, beautiful, wonderful program of 12 steps. I found God, and I was so relieved when I learned, when I came to know that God does not make hard terms with those who seek Him, earnestly and honestly. So I keep opening my mind every single day, because I'm born with that biological predisposition of those prejudices, so they crop up. But I do it on daily basis. God, today please help me keep my mind open. And so I'm receptive to new ideas. I'm open to new experiences. And as the big book says, we on page number on it's on page number 46, we found that as soon as we were able to lay aside prejudice, so my preconceived notion, my closed mind, I should lay aside and express even a little willingness to believe in a power greater than ourselves. I all of a sudden I thought, yes, this program will work for me, because I listened to that workshop on 12 steps, and somehow I was reborn with a new hope. And once I used to be so full of fear, so full of fear, every single moment out of 24 hours, without drinking any alcohol, without any alcohol in my system. I spent about 4 hours of my life being afraid all the time, being scared all the time. And today I today what I can say is, I'm outgrowing fears. I outgrow my fears one day at a time. I can, as the big book prayer, that I ask God to to remove my fear, and have me do his will. After I was done with my fifth step, step number 5, which I did with all honesty, thank you to God of my understanding, I became willing to share each and every single thing that, each and every single defect of character or the nature of my defects. I became willing. Earlier than that, I used to always think, if I disclose myself, what will the person think of me? He is such a waste. But then I became willing, and after step 5, I started the glimpses. I started experiencing the glimpses of that higher power, and I could experience the God's existence. And I completed, or I did the program, as directed, as navigated by my sponsor, all the 12 steps. And after I joined Noodles group, I'm really grateful to Noodles and Nikki for, I used to see people, and they used to, all my friends used to discuss, why don't you sponsor? You need to sponsor. And I realized that, it's again my prejudice, that I was under the prejudice that I will have to practice program for 5 years. I will have to make myself perfect, because I am born with that perfectionism thing. And then after 5 years of practice, I will start sponsoring. But on the Noodles group, I realized it's not going to work. Whatever has been suggested, few simple directions, I must sponsor, I realized. And today I'm actively sponsoring. And I, through prayer, I keep practicing, open mind, honesty, and willingness. And because of the grace of God that I was so resentful at, today I'm leading a happy, joyous, and free life. There are certain problems, they crop up, but I know that faith and action, only and only faith plus action is the solution. I keep practicing the program, and I know only practice and practice till it becomes a working part of my mind. I think my time is up, because I was told about 25 minutes. So this is how by God's grace, I can keep my mind open today, and I can keep myself as much away from this deadly prejudice which was about to kill me. And I'm really thankful to all you guys for giving me an opportunity to share my experience. And thank you so much for your service. Thanks a lot.
Wow. Wow. Amit, amazing. We're going to have to call you back. We just barely touched the iceberg on prejudice. Thank you. I love this topic because it hasn't been discussed before. The prejudice that kept you away from recovery, that kept you away from being reborn, that blocked you from the sunlight of the spirit. It's just so amazing because, we see it as we sponsor others. And I'm so happy to hear you're working with others. People have their preconceived notions. People have their preconceptions. People want to do it their way. I just scheduled this morning to do a step 5 with a sponsee, and she said, well, listen, I have 15 minutes if you want to do that, or we could do 9 p.m. And I was just sort of like, it's not about my ego, but why would the alcoholic be giving me marching orders as to how long a step 5 should take, when we should be doing it, how, and I really had to think to myself, maybe this is a waste of time. This is not the first time she's done. Anyway, I digress. Those prejudices, it's like, I'm here offering you $1 million. You could get reborn. I have a million things to do. And she started talking, and I said, listen, we're not doing a step 5 now. Like, I want to go get my eyebrows done. I want to catch up on my work. I have about 6 hours of work to do. I want to go fold my laundry. I want to go make lunch for my kids. Like, I got a lot to do. I don't want to talk about this. Tell me when you're available, and we'll schedule it gladly. but it's like that prejudice is like, and I said, but I will tell you something. I will tell you something. You have to know that, the evil inclination, the devil, whatever you want to call it, your thinking is preventing you from doing something that's really good for you. You're about to be reborn. And it's like here, if you're seeking it with the desperation of a drowning man, I'm giving you $1 million instead of doing my eyebrows, instead of doing my errands, instead of doing a million things that I'm behind on and I have to do because that's my recovery, is helping her. Tell me about the breaking point. When were your sponsor said that to you, but what was it? What changed inside? What did you see that you said, I have to start getting out of my own way? What was the turning point?
As I said, on my 22nd time, sorry, when I listened to Joe and Charlie workshop on the YouTube, for the first time, I realized that there are things which actually seem to, do the job for me, because I attended so many meetings. I used to attend meetings, but I did not know that obsession is not in my control. It is, it can be taken care of only by higher power. So many things that I did not know. And when I attended that workshop, Joe and Charlie, I realized that this is important for me. And when I got admitted to rehab on my 22nd time, I was totally hungover, and in the morning I woke up and I was like, God could and would. I don't know where it came from, but it came. Suddenly popped in my mind. God could and would if He were sought, and I knew the answer because I knew that God, the power. I like the word power because I said I used to bristle with antagonism with this word God. So I liked the word power. So I knew that I can get that power through 12 steps. So that is when I started working 12 steps. And again, I got second experience, which was definitely a spiritual experience through the movie. My name is Bill W. Uh, when Lo comes and she asked, is it me that you are drinking, is it because of me? And he says, no, I'm thinking about it all afternoon. I'm looking at people and they are happy. They are happy for no reason. All afternoon I've been thinking about it. I feel the sense of inadequacy. I feel disconnected. I try to fill that void through earning more money. And the more I earn, the more that void becomes. And I feel that I am cut off from something. I got so identified with that dialogue that I cried for 45 seconds. And later on, I came to know through Spiritus Contra Spiritum that only spiritual experience will conquer that experience which alcohol was giving me. That was a false spiritual experience, falsified God. So I had to find true God through spiritual experience. So these were the events that occurred, and I got convinced that there is certainly this program is going to work for me because I had been through bedevilments. I always had that disconnect. I always had that sense of inadequacy in me even without drinking alcohol. Yeah.
Wow. So for those of you who are listening, you don't have to go in 22 time. Bring up the bottom, bring up your rock bottom, as the big book says. Is that what we're waiting for? 22 failed marriages, 22 failed jobs, 22 stints in rehab, in jail, in another therapist's office. We can keep going. And if you're like me on this line and you're Al-Anon, I'm a hardcore card carrying Al-Anon, how many more people are you going to try and unsuccessfully control? And it's not easy. It's not easy to get disciplined and relax and let God in. It's not easy to chill and watch, your teenager do bad things that hurt themselves, to watch them compulsively overeat, to watch them be in codependent relationships, to watch them drink or drug or anything. None of this is easy. It's not easy to watch a spouse kill themselves. That's why, like Amit said, God would and could if you were sought, or the power would and could if they were sought. How many more times am I going to try this out? I got here because I know I failed. I hear Amit saying he got here, he realized, game over. Are you going to wait 22 times? People on the line, people hearing on this recorded, are you going to wait 22 times? You might not make it to 22. My baby brother died 3 days out of first time in rehab.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, somebody just got home. My baby brother didn't make it after the first time. So let's bring up the bottom. Amit, yes. Can you share about when you first started sponsoring? How long were you doing this work? When did you first start sponsoring, and what was that like?
I started sponsoring shortly after I joined Noodles. After I joined Noodles, I realized, and it was about 9 months ago. 9 months ago, and I started talking to my friends who were in and out of rooms. So I still talk to a lot of my friends. I tell them, come on, get this program. This program is really simple. Big book says follow these simple rules. There is nothing nothing tough about the program. We don't have to learn any rocket science. It is not difficult. It is not heavy psychology. It's not heavy philosophy. It's just simple. So why not do it and get God? And I actively sponsor because I learned that if I sponsor, I will stay alive and I will live happy, joyous, and free. So, yeah.
And what was that like for you? What was it like the first time taking someone through the work? I just want to tell you people that all you have to do is read the workbook. It's been done for you. You don't have to, get your black belt. Like you said, you don't have to spend 5 years mastering the art of sponsorship. You have to sponsor. And I know that's a tall order, but again, our thinking is what got us here. And that's what you want to point out to your sponsee. See, your thinking is the reason you're on the phone with me. Now, I'll tell you, I'm not mean, and I'm not like a tough love sponsor. But see, we have to remember, we have to have confidence. Even if we're a first-time sponsor, we're one round of 12 steps further down the line, the next person, the workbook. And if everyone needs the workbook, the 12 steps and 4-hour workbook, it does everything for you. All you do is get on the line, get on the phone, get on Zoom, and have your sponsee start reading. And it even tells you where to share your experience, strength, and hope, where to share your war story.
Exactly.
And if you're feeling insecure about that, Amit, maybe put your number in the chat. You can reach out to Amit. You can reach out to me. I already put my number in the chat. We can coach you through it.
Yes, I will.
One husband dead, one husband divorced, crazy as can be, going to flour, to sugar, to relationships, to work. None of them worked. And here I am. It's that easy. It's that easy. And we find that sponsoring is the bright spot of our life. Sponsoring gives us so much. Now, not everyone will make it. If you're not sponsoring it, you have to know that 9 out of 10 people will flake out. They'll relapse. They won't be interested. But those few who do, and even if they don't, and even if they're wasting your time, and even if they were just hoping for some free therapy, I promise you that you haven't gotten on the phone, gotten on the line, will give you that boost of adrenaline, will give you that power that you were looking for in all the wrong places. And you don't have to go to the bottle or, like Amit was saying, illegitimate sources of income or other kind of thrill seeking. You can get thrill just by being a good person, And how great is that? How great is that after feeling like such a fraidy cat and such a liar? The people say to you like, wow, you're a really good person. And I'm like, wow, I really need to be because my life depends on it.
Yes, and that sentence, it says that we found great reality deep down within us. It was so promising. I mean, it never left us, and it was so promising that I was like, wow, is it possible that? And then I was like, yes, so many people have experienced this, so why not me?
Yeah, the deep reality. It's like, here we are. We can't tell the true from the false.
Right.
Should I visit my mom? Should I not visit my mom? Is this a good deed or is it codependent? We don't know how to decide about anything. And all of a sudden, we connect our inner voice, and it's not even us. It's more like our higher power speaks through us. What's the right thing to do? What's the right way to get things done? And this is a gradual process, as an Al-Anon, a codependent, and a compulsive overeater, who didn't know the true from the false. I often get confused. I daily get confused, but I stop and ask God. And if I make a mistake, I course correct. I volunteered for an organization, and I signed up to volunteer with someone really impressive and beautiful. And after I did it, I saw I was feeling bad. And then I realized this is not an overnight matter. Oh, I just signed up to be with a really impressive, charismatic person. That's my disease. That's my codependency. And then I just went and canceled that volunteer slot and signed up for a different one because I realized, well, that wouldn't be good for me. We talk about this in step 10, 11, and 12. What used to be the, intuitive thought or intuition becomes a working part of the mind. See, today, if I make a mistake, if I go to, try and get a relationship, even at work, with someone who jazzes me or, is really pretty or turns me on or is really impressive, but, they might be a jerk. I'll be like, oh, no, I'm doing God's work now. I'm here to be of service. I'm here to be a good guy. I'm not here to impress anybody. I'll just bow out. But this is a result of 10 years working step 10, 11, and 12. Amit, maybe talk about your step 10, 11, and 12, your daily maintenance practice, your daily reprieve.
The other day, I again, this is from what I can identify with about step 10. It happens that if I'm at work and I don't I don't find it is not possible always possible for me to on the spot inventory, but for that what I usually do is whenever if I get a chance, I take the inventory right there. But I I learned through Bob D's sharing or workshop that it's like a safety net. Step 11 is a safety net that we take in the night. It's like a 70 floor, 80 floor buildings in Hong Kong. They have safety nets and two of them. So if something skips net number one, it can be captured by net number two. So step 10 and 11 is like two nets. So if I cannot do step 10 on the spot, I can take the review at night, and I do it with my sponsor. And 12 is I'm actively sponsoring. But yeah, when I heard someone's step 5, and I helped him write the step 4, the experience was so good. I felt so full of contentment that it was not about about pride. It was not about my achievement. It was simply serenity. That's my experience in when I started sponsoring. So yeah, 10, 11, and 12, I do it that way. But I sometimes wonder if there are some people who cannot do step 10 right on the spot. So what do they do?
Well, that's a great question. I just want to remind you guys that help is a full prayer. Help, just getting humble, just quickly telling yourself, even in your mind, I can't do this, but my higher power can. That's something you could say to yourself.
Yes.
Another thing that Nikki from Noodle It Out with Nikki, my friend and sponsor, we sponsor each other back and forth. She says to me, how big is your God? How big is your higher power? Because the one you're working with, you may need to fire him. Like I'm Jewish. I believe that God took my people across the Red Sea, drowned our enemies and their horses, gave them a holy way of life. Like what? He can't handle my coworker. He can't handle my, kid acting like a brat. But see, all I have to do is really pause, pray and pause. That's what the big book tells me, that I have to stop. I have to stop. We are no longer running the show. You can say that to yourself as well. I'm no longer running the show. It's like higher power. I can't handle my 10-year-old and her being stubborn. thank you. I know you can. Or please, can you take care of this? I know I can. I'm no longer running the show. And I have to say this to myself, sometimes at bedtime, no longer running the show.
Yes.
No longer running the show. No longer running the show. It's a lot of humility, even when other people are acting spiritually sick. I have to remember I'm no longer running the show. And then God does miracles for us.
Yes.
God does miracles for us, even when we're resentful, Just last week, I had 3 miracles in a 24-hour period. My mother got health insurance after I've been working on it for almost a year. They just called me and said, hey, we're just going to give it to her. You don't have to make an appointment. I was like, what? See, I did my best and I worked my program.
Yes.
I have a teen daughter who had a friendship that wasn't so healthy for her. And I stayed in humility and pause and prayed on it. I told her I didn't think it's good for her, but, I kind of let go. I didn't admonish her and all that. And all of a sudden, the other girl ended the friendship. God did for her what she couldn't do for herself. God did for me what I couldn't do for my teen. I'm no longer running the show. Thy will, not mine, be done. Right?
Yes. And I always used to feel about humility that it's for weaklings. It's not for me. That was my prejudice, full of prejudices, full of it. And today,
imagine you come from a very masculine-dominated country where it's macho. You've got to be the tough guy. You've got to be in control of your emotions, your finances, your intellect, yes. Right?
And today, humility is the most important, most radical word for me. It's not a word, it's a value that I live by.
And the irony, this program is so radical, right? Is because humility is mastery. Humility is, is sensei, okay.
Yes.
I'll go with the flow. My boss said to me last week, thank you for being so flexible. And I laughed because I thought back to my 20s when I was really arrogant and dominating and kind of obnoxious in the workplace. It's like, no one would have said that to me 20 years ago as anything but flexible. But when you're living in your will not mine be done, it's cool. My sponsee canceled. Great. You know how many errands I got done in that hour and a half I was supposed to take a step 5? I was ready. I was willing.
Yes.
Be humble. You enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride.
Right.
So maybe, Amit, do you have a prayer maybe you could pray us out with? I'd like to end a little bit early.
Okay.
I have a service opportunity here in my home. I got to give everybody lunch. If you don't mind, we'll.
Yes. Set aside prayer will do. Yes.
Oh, that's perfect. We're setting aside all our prejudices, people. Any prejudice you have about your neighbor, your spouse, your children, your sponsor, your sponsee, your fellows, the annoying meeting you're in, your fellowship, the government.
Yeah. God, today help me set aside everything I think I know about you, everything I think I know about myself, everything I think I know about others, and everything I think I know about my own recovery, so that I may have an open mind and a new experience. God, today please help me see the truth. Thank you.
Amen. May we all see the truth. May we all beautifully cast away our prejudice the way our fellow Amit has. Amit, thank you for inspiring us to keep going, to sponsor, to work with others, to stay humble.
There was a man put his hand by the side of his mouth, and he wanted to scream, but the sound never came out. So he reached for the bottle to wash the pain away, 'cause what he wanted so badly was to live a different way. And all of his problems and all of his pain up the puddle and rose with the rain. His ship kept on sinking to the bottom of the lake. For certain that he was just a fake, just a fake. Was a man put his hand by the side of his mouth, and he wanted to share, but only lies ever came out. So he reached for the needle to numb the pain inside. And the truth that he yearned for shriveled up and died. And all of his problems, all of his pain, filled up the puddle, rose with the rain. Ship kept on sinking, bottom of the lake. Just a fake, just a What lives in the darkness dies in the light. Yeah, what lives in the darkness dies.